Well, good morning, everybody, and a warm welcome to Construction Progress Monitoring. How can I improve my business? Glad to see all of you and so many of you here with us today. We've been asked for a long time by several of our clients to offer this webinar to help them understand progress monitoring and the benefits in some detail. We're very pleased to offer this to you all today. So Drone On. Drone On is here to support you and educate you, and those of you interested in drone and related technologies that can support and develop their businesses. With our partners, we're able to give you answers you're unable to either find or did not have the time to find. Here we'll give you a short, focused session to leave you with both a clear understanding of how you will benefit, this will benefit your business, and where you can go to take the next steps to make this a reality in your company. So first of all, some housekeeping. Please make sure you can hear and see the presentation clearly. Let us know if you're experiencing any issues, and feel free to ask any questions during the session in the chat section, and we will be pleased to answer these for you. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, and we will also be sending you a copy of the webinar after today's session has completed. So here are your presenters for today. My name is Dan Casey, and I am the Business Development Manager of FEDS. Today, my co-presenter is Gabrielle Ruggiero from Pix4D, and the team answering your questions is led by Jude Searchfield, our service and crane camera specialist. So for the agenda today, we're looking to keep it short and focused on the key points that we're often asked about on this subject. Please bear in mind, this is an introduction to sharing all the elements of progress monitoring, yet we are not looking to over-focus on individual aspects. However, feel free to ask questions, as I mentioned, that we will answer as we go. And if more detail is needed, we'll be very happy to follow up on these on a one-to-one basis. So who are FEDS? FEDS, or Falcon Eye Drones, have grown from a startup business to the leading drone power solutions provider in the MENA region, bar none. We have 40 operational employees dedicated to specialist drone works all across the MENA region, with headquarters based in Dubai. We have recently partnered up over the last month with Aradyne Group, and together we have formed the largest drone group on the planet. So it's fair to say you're in safe hands today. As you can see here, this is a list of our clients, which is vast, covering many different industries and very much including several in construction. These are just some good examples to give you an idea of who we work with. So who are Pix4D? Pix4D are the global company and leaders in professional photogrammetry software and drone mapping. Gabriel, co-presenting with me today, is here today with Pix4D, and he's been with them for over 6 years. And this just gives you a summary of their business and services. So to give us some understanding, we'd like to get to know a little bit more about you and what's important to you. I'm going to now put a poll on screen for everybody, and if you could please answer according to your needs and your thoughts. So the options for the poll the question for the poll is, what regular day-to-day issues do you face on your projects, obviously your construction projects, and that you're hopeful this webinar today can help you with? And of course, there's lack of time, money saving, safety and security, better quality data, all of the above, and none, I'm super awesome already, and COVID-19 is just giving me amazing holiday in 2020. Okay, so I hope you can all now see the results on your screens. Very, very pleased to see that all of the above is incredibly popular. And I'm very grateful for you to coming back to us with that feedback as well. So if you answered anything from 1 to 5, then you've come to the right place. We've got this all covered in the webinar today, and as so many of you put the number 5 with all of those, I'm very pleased to say we'll cover all those subjects. If, however, you did answer number 6, then I recommend you keep watching Tiger King on Netflix and we'll just forward the webinar to you. But unfortunately, that means your competition will now be ahead of you. So let's drill down to it. What are the main benefits of drone technology and new technology with progress monitoring? Here's the snapshot answer for you. Money saving is generally the most important one people ask about. And for money saving, it's proven up to 11.8% of the total site project value can be saved off your costs. And when you consider the size of sites, say for 50 million, you can just imagine the cost saving benefits of using drone technology. And this is proven through our case studies and work we've carried out. It also gets the most attention, as I mentioned, and this is totally realistic. But this is also combined with time saving, better safety, and data. And now I really want to take you through all of these in some more detail. However, first, I'd like to just share a quick short quote that I think is ideal for the construction industry in engaging with new tech. Once a new technology rolls over you, if you're not part of the steamroller, you're part of the road. Now, I think this really accurately conveys the message of the importance of technology in your business. I'll be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea who Stuart Brand is, the writer that quoted this, but I think it's perfect just to illustrate this point for us today. So what are the applications and deliverables? Let's have a look at these in some detail. So the 3 options and the 3 basic ways you can use the technology, 2 with drones and 1 with crane cameras. With drones, option 1 is accurate survey solutions and mapping. Option 2 is drones for media and time-lapse. And option 3 is crane cameras with crane fix solutions. Now, I'll be taking you through the first 2 of those with drones today, and then I'll be handing across to my co-presenter, Gabrielle, as mentioned, to focus on the crane cameras. So often we were asked where drones have applications in the construction workflow. There is so much that we can do with near endless solutions. But in short, there are 3 main stages and applications in the construction industry. The greatest focus is normally on pre-construction, as you can see on your screens, and construction during the construction process. These are all the elements we can deliver for these 2 stages and should be most of interest to you today. But they include, for example, topographical maps, inspections, health and safety, site inspection, and during construction, progress monitoring, site inspection, and volumetric calculations, including measurements. Of course, there's also post-construction, but post-construction is normally more of interest to end users and maintenance companies, so not as much of a focus for today. So what are the outputs that we can get from these drone surveys? And the answer is several. We can get base maps and earthworks, help in pre-construction stages, drone data that will provide a map predicting more easily the quantity of material to be moved, and ultimately this saves you a lot of time and money. And on screen you can see some examples of the data outputs, contours, orthomosaic outputs. Using traditional land surveyors on a large site is time consuming, and as a result this will cost more. A drone in one flight can collect enough data to produce all the information needed without interrupting the normal workflow on the ground, and unlike traditional topographic survey data, which is essentially just a set of line sets, drone surveys can include orthomaps, contour maps, DSM, digital surface models, and all this data can be cloud-based, accessible anywhere and by anybody that's involved in the project remotely. So a critical and often asked question is what levels of ground sampling distance, GSD, and accuracy can be expected? Now, generally this gives you the answers. Up to 1 centimetre of GSD, ground sampling distance, and up to 2.5 centimetres in horizontal and 5 centimetres in vertical accuracy. Now, on horizontal and vertical accuracy, this is quite a common thing. It's asked, why are they not the same? The way we collect the data basically means that horizontal we can get better levels of GSD and accuracy, and however vertical we can't achieve quite the same. It's normally 2 to 3 times. A common request is we would like the best of these of both for our data. Whereas in reality, the best outcome is gained by flying and delivering to the minimum acceptable tolerances of the end user. as this delivers the levels they need, but reduces the flight times, and this in turn gives us the minimum amount of flight time and reduces the overall cost for the services. So basically, if your project requires 5 centimeters in horizontal X and Y, and then 10 centimeters in Z, we're better to fly at a higher height with less accuracy because we can fly quicker and deliver a better price quote, but it gives you the required accuracy tolerances you needed. So what can drones provide during the construction phase? In this example, you can see the results of the base maps and earthworks. Here, the drone data provides a map used for predicting much more easily the quantity of material that can be moved on the site and its developments. And overall, this can save you time and money as mentioned. Using traditional land surveyors on a large site is time consuming. And as a result, it will cost significantly more in terms of time and money, more than a drone solution. A drone in one flight can collect enough data to produce all the information needed without interrupting the normal workflow on the ground, as I mentioned. Now, as you can see, the project is progressing month on month, and all this data can be cloud-based, accessible anywhere and by anyone involved on the project, even outside of your organization, another company you could share this data with. So, what about a large-scale site overview? Because that was a relatively small site we just looked at. Here is an orthomosaic of a large area in one image. And this is of a solar facility being constructed. Now, as you can see, the site is developing over time with a broad overview of the whole site in the initial slides. And then what about closer up? Well, as you can see, we've already zoomed in here and you get a closer image. And again, even closer now, so you can get an outstanding level of clarity and overview of your site in all the locations. You can see the stockpiles clearly. And from this, you can capture measurements and volumes remotely following on from the survey of the site. All of this together allows you to come up with a complete solution for your construction process on the site. This clearly demonstrates the power of this tool for your projects, and I hope gives you good understanding of exactly how it works as an end delivery. So we're often asked what type of drone is to be used to gather this data. Now, of course, there are many small and consumer drones and toy drones in the market. And of course, we're not at that end of the spectrum. But most people commonly think of the multi-rotor drone type. And here you can see a multi-rotor drone, the DJI M300, which is just being released. And we're talking about that in a webinar tomorrow as well. So if you'd like to learn more specifically on that product, please tune in then again. But we have the multi-rotor drone. And of the two types, there is also the fixed-wing SenseFly EBX drone that you could use for capturing this data. Now, the EBX is ideal for capturing large areas and fast collection of data. So this would be the sensible option for this. But this does not mean that the multi-rotor drone is not an extremely useful application. This is more useful for 3D models, which we're going to a little bit more shortly, so you can see more of what the DJI M300 and other multi-rotors can collect. And if you'd like to learn more about either of these products, I would certainly advise you to connect with Scott Henderson, who's online right now, who can answer your questions and be very interested to connect with you after this and discuss these in much more detail. So feel free to ask. So the question always asked about these two drone solutions and your current surveying solution is how do they compete with each other and the traditional ground-based surveying systems? Well, here you can easily see on the left how much distance can be covered in one day. So just to confirm what we're trying to illustrate, the human at the top, in one day with a traditional ground-based team of 4 teams, can normally cover 0.16 kilometers of linear distance at half a kilometer wide of traditional ground-based surveying. Now, immediately you can see that the multi-rotor drone can collect 1.4 kilometers on average in comparison, and obviously we're delivering the higher quality data sets. Then moving that onto the fixed wing drone, again, look at the incredible increase in the red bar up to 5 kilometers for this linear measurement. And this is all in one day. So as you can imagine, over a large project of hundreds of kilometers, this really makes a significant difference. Then on the right-hand side, as you can see, we're again illustrating this, but now we're focusing on how much time it takes for that person. So the human in the top left corner in the light grey box, they will take 2 months to cover these 5 square kilometres. The fixed wing drone, as you can say, takes 2 days. So this really, again, focuses the amount of time that can be saved for this same project over this area. So clearly, it's unarguable from this information how substantial the time and cost saving benefits are from using this drone for your surveying and mapping. So how do these two systems stack up in comparison? Well, here we've got the fixed wing drone comparing to a multi-rotor, and obviously we've discussed the larger distances it can cover, and this leads to it obviously being far more cost effective and a much longer flight time. As I said, of course, we can also compare the fixed wing to the traditional ground surveying, and again, you've seen the huge difference it makes here, and this is multiplied even further. But it also includes things such as less risk, because naturally, if you don't have a ground-based team, if they're going over difficult terrain, the drone is flying over it, whereas of course, the ground-based team, they're actively walking over those surfaces. So say it's mountainous or treacherous locations, difficult weather, etc. The drones can cope with this much better than humans trying to traverse and cross those locations. So why do we use multi-rotor drones, I would hear you ask? If we have the fixed wing solution, why would we not just deploy that on every occasion? Well, there are situations where it works absolutely perfectly and is much more suitable. So I'm going to go into those a little bit now for you. For smaller areas and projects, it makes absolute and complete sense. And as promised, we want to share with you today a case study for a Dubai-based project. So the end client for this project was Morass. And basically here they had several issues with developing and reworks and delays caused from setbacks on their site they have here at Jumeirah Pearl. So this is a summary of the project, just to give you an idea, and a quick snapshot image of it as well. But we just spoke, or I just mentioned, with regards to the reworks and delays. So what causes these reworks and delays? Well, there can be several reasons, as many of you know: miscommunication, poor management and collaboration. However, the point is they all lead to reworks and delays, and this leads to losing time and money as a result for your project. Progress monitoring used correctly can resolve all of these matters and transform your project entirely. So here I'm just going to scroll you through the project, and you can see the dates on the left-hand side. So as I scroll through now, it just illustrates to you the aerial changes on site that you can see as we're progressing through the sites. But now what we're going to do is take one of those orthomosaic outputs, and we're going to focus in on it to 100% zoom. And here you can clearly see the maintenance guy that's down there working at the moment, the traffic cone. You can see absolute clarity of the details with zero pixelation. And from this, you can capture accurate measurements, volumes, all these kind of things that are incredibly useful to you and your team to monitor the progress. But additionally to this, as you can see here, we have a 3D model of the site. Now, we offer this with software, and obviously this can collaborate with the software of your chosen format as well. But for the purpose of this webinar, we're playing this now just so that you can get a real feel for exactly how interactive the 3D model is and what you can do. And this has a series of different outputs. It's not limited to just this visual. There are several others we can offer with this 3D model, but this is just the visual side of things. Now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on this stockpile of material that you can see on site, and you'll see how quickly and easily that you can use this tool just to outline this particular stockpile, as we are here, create the mesh, and here you can see us providing the volumetric calculations for this particular stockpile. And of course, that was literally seconds of clicking of your chosen subject of anywhere on the site, anywhere in time during the project for this particular model and the data we've captured. And again, here we're just zooming out, showing how intuitive and easy it is to use this, and zooming in yet again. And here we're doing basically where this sinkhole is, and we're working out the fill and obviously the drop and the volume calculation for this again. And of course, as you would imagine, we can do the area measurements and distances, of course. And now we're just going to outline this particular rectangle, and you can see it highlighted in orange, and this gives you the area calculations and the perimeter of this. But of course, there's many, many other applications. We're just really trying to illustrate this for you today and give you full understanding of what we can actually deliver with this great tech. Okay, so the two remaining drone options for construction include traditional media photography and videography and time-lapse. These are the most familiar options and highly useful, but they're also the most recognized, as I say. But as you will have now seen all of the other options we can offer, you can now see these are just the tip of the iceberg when using drones for your construction monitoring. So here's a site view of Emar beachfront. And I'm showing you this because it just really shows you the true overview we can get. And a common question that's asked is, how high do we fly our drones, or can we fly our drones? And the answer is normally about 120 meters for a short answer, but it really depends on the project location and everything else. And there are limitations to how high we can fly. But this just gives you a great indication of the outstanding visuals that can be achieved for your project. We do also offer videos for this, but I have to be honest, it's difficult to run this in the webinar, but we will be adding this to the webinar to forward to you, where you can see the same site with a full video capture. And additionally to this, we also will have a time-lapse capture that we can share with you, which really illustrates that. But unfortunately, again, it doesn't stream as well as we hoped in a webinar. So this will be forwarded to you to follow on, and we do urge you to have a look at this as well. So, what are all the drone progress monitoring deliverables? We've covered them all now. Here is your summary of them all, and with them all covered, including ortho maps, 3D maps and models, volumetric calculations, and all the forms of media, photography, videography, 360, and time-lapse. So this is the section covered off with drones. And now we're going to move on to crane cameras with my colleague, Gabrielle. Firstly, though, I'm just going to launch another poll that's relevant to this part of the presentation. If you'll just bear with me, I'll pull this up onto screen now. And here we have poll number 2 for you, which should be appearing on your screens now. And if you could just answer this for us, just to confirm, question 1, if you could give us an idea of your percentage rework budget for your company and what it allocates at this time. And question 2, if you do engage technology, which technologies do you use to daily monitor your site now? If you don't, then please let us know. We'd be very interested to talk to you with regards to that, and obviously share all of these options so they make more sense. Okay, so I think we have all the results in there, and it's clear to see that the rework budget is 5 to 10%. Now, I'm really pleased to say that's in line with our expectations and what we would hope for. I'd be quite concerned for you if it was more than 20%, of course, but we have to give the option. But 5 to 10% is industry standard, and that's the kind of savings we're looking at. So that's excellent to hear. And with regards to the technology used on site, very encouraging to see you using drones. But of course, now Gabrielle is going to speak more with regards to exactly what we can offer for crane cameras. Just bear with me 1 minute, and I will hand you across to him now.
Hi everybody, I'm Gabriel from Pixbury here. Thank you, Dan, for passing me the ball. And today I'm here to speak about the crane camera for construction. It's a crane camera. It's a part of the portfolio of products that FEDS is offering to the MENA region. And as it was explained before, the daily monitoring helps to solve 3 main problems: the costly reworks, the delays on schedule, and open disputes. As an example, we have found out that in Europe, the 28% of a construction budget is allocated to the reworks. Hence, it's impacting heavily the finance of a construction company. This definitely it's higher than what you're saying that we saw in the poll, and it's actually gathering the information of all European countries. Very often, reworks end up in open disputes that damage the relationships between stakeholders and could delay even more the operational schedule. The Pix4D crane camera allows to daily monitor the as-built with measurable and georeferenced 2D maps and 3D models in a fully automatic way. Virtual inspections and comparisons over time are possible thanks to dedicated online cloud tools, allowing important communication updates between the superintendents and the construction team on site. The crane camera solution is composed by an hardware, let's say an IoT camera with 22 megapixel IP67 box with IMU, GPS, and a SIM card for data connections, a proprietary software as a service that is linked directly to the camera and collects and processes the images acquired on site with a dedicated workflow. The solution has been crafted around our photogrammetry main software that we have been developing for more than a decade, which is basically the art and the science of extracting information from images. This is photogrammetry. And it has been actually engineered in dedicated workflows to let working properly with crane cameras on site. The process leads to converting overlapping images into measurable results, 2D and 3D, with high precision models, which allowing the comparing the as-built versus the as-design in a daily manner. This is an example of how we intend the comparison between the CAD layers and the maps of 2 consecutive days, basically showing the as-built compared to the project. Here you can see also the CAD model with like the maps of day 1 and day 2 left and right. We picked these days from a timeline that we will see later on in a live demo. Multiple cameras with different inclinations can be installed on the jib of the cranes and are powered by the power of the crane. In this image, you can see even the dimension of the crane, of the camera compared to the people that are basically doing some, I guess, some activities of checking things over there on the crane. So how does it work? The cameras are mounted in multiple locations of the jib of the crane and are wirelessly connected to the Pix4D cloud software thanks to the data SIM connections. The solution takes images automatically. We have an engineering and consulting team that basically sets this up properly thanks to the plan of the construction site that customers provide us. And the camera starts collecting images when the crane begins to move according to a dedicated time slot during the day. It can be in a moment of a lunch break or during evening time after the jobs, or actually at any time during the day and night. The system sends then automatically the images wirelessly, or if you have a LAN network, we could even do that. And the Pix4D cloud converts the images acquired by the cameras into accurate models, 2D and 3D. The results, the software, it's cloud-based, so it's easily then accessible everywhere from wherever you are, everywhere in the world. The results are then securely archived and available to be analyzed and displayed online. So here, let me show then two results, two case studies that you will see then later on with hyperlinks when you receive the presentation of a company that is working with us since almost now 2016, end of 2016. VolkerWessels is a Dutch company with more than 16,000 employees and 5.7 billion euros revenues in 2017. VolkerWessels adopted the crane camera solution for many years, and many of their construction sites where drones were basically forbidden for regulations or possible bad weather, where basically there was no room for errors, and they needed to fulfill the qualified standards of the Netherlands. So since 2018, they finished 2 projects. They have now 8 active projects around their construction sites, and 2 projects are about to start. So the Hotel Grote Markt, it's a hotel with 123 rooms and 1,000 square meters of catering area. It's located in Groningen, and it has been basically on live since June 2018, and it was finished in April 2020, so just last month. The project size is about 8,000 square meters gross floor area, and the data acquisition basically was twice per day. The construction site managers were able to save and stay on schedule, so you see less than 2 years project, and fulfill all the requirements of quality and data assurance, especially because of the easy connection with BIM software, as well as with their Gantt software. So here is an example of what the superintendent basically was doing. Let me play the video. So in this video, we just see how they basically end up in finding a 35 centimeters misplaced formwork in X and Y. So the superintendent early in the morning was checking every day the construction site compared to the CAD software, so to the CAD PDF, overlaid and made a bit transparent over the as-built. So in this way, he spotted misplaced of 35 centimeters and immediately sent with the shared link the results on site to the construction builders. So as a setting on their construction site, VolkerWessels had a big TV in the shelters that basically was receiving the data from the superintendent, and they were able to correct the formwork's errors before it would have been too late. So imagine that this was happening on one of the 8 floors of the hotel, and basically it could have ended up in a bad way for the subcontractors as well as for the disputes. Imagine if it would have been too late after the entire construction site was built. So now I did a recap of the Onyx Tower, a project in Eindhoven. It's a tower of 83 meters high, definitely more similar to most of the construction sites that I've seen in the Emirates. It's not achieving like 100 plus meters, but still it's interesting. It's a residential tower with 135 apartments and a commercial area as well. It's in Eindhoven, the Netherlands, and it is live. It was live from January 2018 and May 2019. The data acquisition again was twice per day to be very redundant and very precise. In order to do that, what I'm gonna do a live demo, and I hope that everything will be fine. you should now see my screen here that is open as a web link here, you see. And we are already in the comparison mode with 1 day. So it was May 17 on the left and May 16 actually on the right. Here you see many projects on the top bar. It's a timeline. And you see that starts from November 2nd, 2017. And we are basically back here in May 17, 2020. Sorry, 2019. With the slider, easily, we can compare the results and check the differences also according to the CAD model that is loaded here, and it can be turned on and off. With the transparent tool, we can make it higher. I mean, the image map can be highlighted or not. Here it is. As you can see also, we can click from this top button, the shareable link, the shareable tool, that you can receive it or anyone can receive it at any site. It doesn't require a user account. Here, then we go to the construction site, the 2D map, DSM, and the orthomosaic RGB is basically generated. And what I can see here, what I can show here on the 3D, you can basically see the construction site, the tower, with the crane actually that came up. I have the possibility to use measurement tools, areas, volume calculations, as well as inspections. So for example, here, if we want to check this floor, I can click this button, and here on the right side will appear all the images that are contributing to generate this point in a basically inspection way. I can select and pick the images that I want, and then I can save, I can change the color of the inspection and share this result. The same happens with volume calculations, area measurements, and the distance measurements. Just for the sake of clarity, here you can see all the images that are contributing to generate the points and to create the 3D model and the 2D maps, as well as all the results that are available to download and be archived in whatever hard drive that you want, or you can simply take advantage of the cloud that is here with the timeline. So let me go back to the presentation. Yeah, so here we go as a recap. The 5 benefits of the crane camera solution are the following. Basically, the quality. It gives enough tools to build according to high quality standards, and it keeps the project up to date and let's say in order as a visual as built Gantt. The quality and the accuracy, it's given by what actually Dan said earlier. With the cameras at 22 megapixel with a GPS and IMU, you are actually able to achieve very detailed results. Of course, according to the height of the crane, if the crane grows together with the construction site, with the tower as well, let's say, or stays fixed, that's of course affected, but the results are really, really accurate. Can be 1 centimeters GSD and up to 2 centimeters in the accuracy X and Y. So the ability to spot construction errors, it allows to be very quick and on schedule, and basically to provide good insights of where to, let's say, correct the errors before it would have been too late, hence ending up in spending a lot more money in reconstruction reworks. It's actually very quick also because it basically provides out of VolkerWessels data, the 80% increase in speed compared to other methods, as the superintendent can save easily 1 hour per day without the need to climb over a crane for simply inspecting the site from above, or simply go on site on, let's say, the floor, and risking for his safety, as well as being interrupted many times by the people over the construction site. It's then, let's say, the IoT topics, the shareability. It's one of the key factors here. The results and the inspection can be easily shared online with a simple link without the need of creating an account. And it is actually very safe and fully automatic. It doesn't require any intervention to run and can be installed when the jib of the crane is on the ground, or it's already there flying, basically. So I'm done with this presentation of this part of the solution. We are available for questions even later on. And now the poll. I will share as well the link of a construction site as a demo that you can visualize in the chat. Dan, I pass you the ball.
Okay. Thank you, Gabriel. So as Gabriel just mentioned, we have another poll for you. I promise this is the last one, and we very much thank you for your feedback, first of all, just because this will really help us in understanding how we can work with you going forwards. So this one should now have come up on your screen for the third and final poll, questions 4 and 5. So which construction software are you most familiar with? We've given 4 of the main ones, but of course, if there's other, please put that, and we're interested to learn about that, of course. And the second question is, what main challenges do you want to meet with the use of a crane camera? So now that Gabriel has talked you through all of that, you know, there'll be key points that are of interest to you. So, you know, we welcome you to give us your feedback on that as well, please. Okay, so thank you very much again for all your contributions there. It's interesting to see there's Synchro obviously not doing very well for construction software. Obviously there's over half of those are other solutions. So again, that's even more reason we'd like to reach out to you and understand exactly what you're using. And the main challenge is obviously progress monitoring, which, you know, should be expected from the nature of the presentation, you would say, but very interesting to see the results there. Okay. Okay, so now you should be able to see my screen again. And I'm just going to scroll back through to where Gabriel left off. Please excuse me one moment. Okay, so thank you again for your poll results. So now really just want to go through a quick summary. Thank you very much, first of all, Gabriel, for everything you've gone through there on the construction cranes solutions. So we've now covered off all the solutions in detail, and I'm sure these will make a lot more sense to you now, or we certainly hope they do, and if not, please do ask. However, to help, here is an easy comparison and summary of all the key points. So basically, we have multi-rotor drones, which are good for 3D imagery and obviously very suitable for media and obviously for multiple data deliverable outputs. Fixed wing drones, which are, as you clearly have seen, are fantastic for large area data collection and extreme speed and obviously cost savings accordingly. time-lapse, which again, it's difficult to convey on a webinar properly. And as I say, I do urge you to look at the videos we will forward, but these are absolutely fantastic for the pole-mounted time-lapse cameras. And then of course, we have time-lapse from the drone data we've collected. And finally, of course, crane cameras, which Gabriel has clearly gone into a lot of detail on. One of the key benefits of the crane cameras, just to mention, is all weather conditions they can work in, but drones basically can work in 90–95% of weather conditions without any problem as well, of course. But the crane camera is consistent 24/7. But basically, no one solution can work for every single project. They're all specialized, and often you'll need a combination of them to find the right solution to suit your needs. So this is where it obviously comes down to connecting with us and looking at the project or projects you have, and we can take this further and discuss it in more detail with you. So moving on from that, why are we looking at these solutions? It's not to spend more, it's to invest in the right solutions to provide a key outcome. And that key outcome is a quantifiable return on your investments. And this will be evident from the decreases in your losses, avoiding reworks, improving your decisions, and basically reducing the timelines. And ultimately, as I say, saving you money at the end of the day. So this graph basically shows a point, which is the more your project overruns with errors, the more costs are lost and contingency funds disappeared. Now, we've obviously gone into the percentages. We're looking at anything from 5 to 20, 25%. So, these solutions saving you that cost have huge potential for your business to remove these losses and completely change it into another business with cost savings and efficiency of your projects. And here are the final numbers. This does assume best case scenario, we have to say, and full use of these systems across your projects. These figures are completely achievable, but will require some dedication to using all the solutions effectively. But naturally, we cannot rule out human error looking at the data, but we can on the ground level cover the correct collection of the data. But as you can see, it's looking at a 25% increase in your turnaround, reporting turnaround, 32% decrease in snagless completion time, and 25% reduction in rework, saving 5 hours a week on unnecessary meetings. All of this combined basically delivers to you a fantastic cost-saving solution. So in summary, drones and crane construction progress monitoring provide seamless workflow, allowing faster decision-making to mitigate risk and avoid costly delays. Or in simple human language, it saves you time and money. So I think you'd agree, if you understand what we've said today, it's time to try a change in your business and what you do. And I think Albert Einstein put it best here, allegedly, with his quote, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing time and time over again, but expecting different results." I think it's fair to say many people in the construction industry do continue with traditional methods. What we're trying to urge you to do is interact with us and understand exactly what we can offer you in terms of these great solutions going forwards. So thank you very much for joining us for our webinar, and it's now time for questions and answers. So we will now just have a quick look at the chat and see exactly what we have. So Gabriel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So Gabriel, we've had a gentleman called Rosas, Rosas. He sent me a private message asking a few questions specifically about crane cameras.
Yes.
I think he'd like to actually speak to you personally, if I could just call him up. So just bear with me 1 minute and we should be able to take him off, and he wanted to ask you the question in person. So just bear with me. Rosas, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for the good presentation.
Sorry, Rosas, I thought you were a gentleman, so I apologize first of all.
Yeah, that's fine.
Welcome and thank you for your questions. Because they were quite detailed, I think, as we mentioned in our chat, if you would like to pose them to Gabriel, I'm sure he'd be very happy to help you.
Okay, but I have two questions. So first is about the BIM 360. So because of the COVID-19 situation right now, so we are pushed to BIM 360. So I'm quite interested how it looks like in BIM 360, or how it is imported to the BIM 360. That's the first one. And then the second question is about the cranes. So usually in a building project, we installed 4 cranes or maybe more. So I'm just trying to make trying to imagine the situation on site. So with this camera, do I need to relocate the camera in these 4 cranes, for example, in just one single day?
So it's thanks actually very much for this this question, and this allows me to enter a bit in the setting of the construction site and the crane cameras. Basically, we can actually install, or actually we can allow you to install up to 4 cameras per crane.
Mm-hmm.
And as every crane, in order to cover as much as possible the entire construction site. The best would be, if you have multiple cranes on a construction site,
Yes.
would be that some areas will be covered, will be basically overlapped between one crane and the other. And based on my experience, is very often the case with multiple cranes in a construction site that are set at even at different heights.
Okay.
Thanks to the cloud and the data sim connection, we can gather all the images coming from all the cranes of the construction site, let's say all the crane cameras installed in all the cranes of the construction site, and process them together in order to create one single project.
Mm-hmm.
So you will see one single map of the entire construction site. Let's say that you have an area where you are building 2 towers with 5 cranes,
Mm-hmm.
and a commercial area. Basically, you want to see them all as a project manager, but you have sub-managers related to every single building. So you can anyway do that.
Okay.
The
Okay.
interesting part is also that you can include in a project also drone images, let's say once a month or once every trimester, if you want to fly a drone there, and you are allowed to.
Okay, so it will be mixed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
okay. Thank you
And
for
this
sharing.
is thanks to the cloud and this new technology that basically allows you to be on site, even not physically being on site.
Okay. Yeah, it's very clear. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Rossas. Really appreciate the question. Thank you. Okay, well, I have to say, again, thank you, Gabriel, for helping Rossas with that. I have to say that we don't actually have any other questions, which either means A, we've done a fantastic job.
Sorry, Dan.
Yes.
I have a question here. That,
oh, you have a private one. Sorry, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
came to me. Does the crane camera can be installed on laughing cranes? Yes, it can. We simply have to know the type of inclination and how the movement inclination of the boom is compensated. That's thanks to the IMU that we have installed in the camera. And similar inquiries for normal tower cranes, how the climbing of the crane at various levels is managed in terms of image elevation. That's actually given the same answer for the GSD as per the drones. So basically with a tower crane, if the tower crane grows together with the construction site, basically the GSD will almost stay the same. If it has different levels, if it stays, sorry, if the tower crane stays fixed and it's the building that grows, then of course the GSD will be higher in terms of more precise when it reaches almost the crane, and it will be less on the ground. But anyway, our consulting team can provide enough information to allow you to get what you want.
Thanks again, Gabriel. As I was just saying, I didn't realize that you had that inquiry, but very glad you covered that off. Thank you. But we don't seem to have anything else. Jude's just mentioned on the chat that if anybody else has any questions, please ask now. They're very welcome. So, but following on from this, accordingly, if you do think of something and you'd like to speak to us, we'd be very happy to do so. So on that point, if you have any future questions, here is how to get in touch. So there's myself, Dan Casey, and I focus on service provision and your further inquiries with regards to this. And here is my email and contact number, and very much welcome you to get in touch, and would love to meet you and speak to you in person with regards to this. Jude Searchfield, he is our crane camera and service specialist for the MENA region. So again, if you'd like to connect with Jude, here is his email and telephone number, and we welcome you to do so. And as I mentioned during the presentation as well, there's Scott Henderson, who's also online. He's our product sales manager, and this is again his email and telephone number, so you can connect with him. I'd also like to just mention quickly that Scott has got a presentation tomorrow, and that presentation is on the release of the new DJI M300 product, which is extremely exciting as a multi-rotor product. If you're interested in that, feel free to tune in and connect with Scott, and he will be very happy to personally extend you an invitation if you haven't already got one. And we welcome you to join us for that in our next in this series of Drone On. We'd like to thank you all for your time today, and look forward to speaking to and connecting with you all again very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and cheers.
Thank you.